This spruce is about 22 inches in diameter, and so I've already set this borer, but it's hard to find a good spot on this thing because it's hard. I don't know if you can see it in the video. It's got damage there. It's got damage on the other side. This is the only side that seems to not be damaged, at least on the outside. So I'm hoping I can get a good core in there. This is not like the perfect spot to do this, but being uncomfortable is part of being what it is to be up here. And this is a neat part of the forest because I think the 47 fire came down through here, and it looks like it didn't hit this area as much because, first of all, there's 22-inch red spruce still here. There's 22 and 24-inch yellow birch, beautiful trees that I can see right now, right there. But a lot of the understory's gone too. I don't know if that's a soils thing, you know, relative to the soils, because this is also an area that's very open. There's some hobble bush and other herbaceous stuff, but striped maple, but it's easy to walk through it. So anyway, I'm going to do this for 2 or 3 minutes and record. How long have we been recording? 1.5 minutes. And what I found today and yesterday when I was practicing this at home, but also doing it today on some big 25-inch red spruce, beautiful tree that's just in like perfect condition. This one looks pretty awesome too. I mean, it's just it's very easy to do the core, to get it in, and it was easy to back it out. What was not easy was doing it on yellow birch. I did it on a 28-inch yellow birch, and the tree is rotten in the middle apparently, and I was lucky to get it out of there because it wasn't gripping on the threads weren't gripping on the way back. So it took a lot of 110, 150 turns of this thing over and over, putting my weight into it to get it out. So I'm just going to do an estimate, see how far we are here. Definitely want to go farther, but not terribly far, a couple inches maybe. And I would guess it goes in about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch every turn when you're going in. But when you're backing out, it seems like it's less. Okay, let's measure it again. I know this is almost the same length. Somehow I actually got that pretty close. Can you see me? Yes. So that's a little more than halfway. I mean, almost halfway. So we'll go in another inch. And it's getting hard to turn it at this point. Okay. What I found on the first tree I did, a red spruce, is that if I go a little past what I think is the middle, when I back it out, you can actually see the pith, you can see the middle, and then it start getting rings on the opposite side. So actually for me, a non-expert, someone with very little experience doing this, it's actually a good way for me to double check, oh yes, I got to the middle, I got to the center of the pith. So this is where we are. I'm hoping this will work well, because it's worked really well on all the other trees I've done today. I'm going to insert this concave down. And it went in there pretty well. So I'm going to turn it to back it out. And most people, including the instructions, say just do it once. Hopefully that's going to work. What I've noticed is a lot of times at the very end, I'll still have a piece stuck in it. So I'm going to start pulling it out, and then I'm going to pick up the camera, show you what it looks like. Oh, and I can't turn the camera around now, I guess. And hopefully that's seeable, visible. This is bark. That's not bark. So I'm going to very carefully take that out. And I don't know how well it's going to show up in the video. We will try it anyway. This one I mangled a bit. Oops. But it should work. What I've learned is make it easy for the core to rest in this. And if the easier it is to rest in it, I cut it lengthwise so I could do that. The easier it is to rest in it, the more likely you're gonna drop it on the ground. So this one is mangled enough, it's gonna run the risk of it dropping. The other thing I learned, or seemed to work pretty well, is I like to take that bark off because that kept getting stuck in the paper to the extent I could. And of course the bark doesn't show any rings or anything like that. And then I just put it in like that. And what I learned, pull it a ways, not terribly far, 2 inches, and that'll allow it to slip under. If you try to slip the paper under it, so somehow I caught that. If you allow the paper to slide under it too close, there's not much room there and it tends to get caught. And once it gets caught on the end of the paper, it tends to makes it very difficult to push the rest of it through the paper. Through the channel of the paper. So let's try again. Actually, it's coming out very easily, which is nice. And what also is nice is that it's sticking to itself pretty well. This is the hardest part for this for me, just because I lack experience, I think. Also, I would much rather have this paper be just a tiny bit bigger in diameter than it is. And there, another piece broke off. It looks like it might be rotten. You know what's funny is how I just went, I didn't even, my brain just made my mouth do it. And this thing is really in bad shape. So let's see how much more I can pull out. So maybe just a little spot that was broken and rotten. I don't even know if rotten's the right word because it doesn't look bad. And I didn't intend to make a very long video, but here we are. And I'm hoping I'm near the end. I am near the end. Oh, there it goes. So it's a nice core. I'm not going to try to show the close-up of this. All the way through. And it looks like the pith is about right here, like an inch or so from the edge. That's the part I'm always worried about. I'm going to be super careful and put this down where I'm not going to accidentally hit it or step on it, because I don't want to break any of that. I like to keep it all nice and good. So the next thing to do, I learned, is to pull this back. So if it took me, I don't know, 50 turns to put it in, it's going to take me 70 or 80 to pull it out. And I think one of the videos I saw said, don't leave this thing in there for 20 minutes because the sap starts to harden a little bit, I think. Yeah, and so when you're pulling this out, it doesn't seem to go out as much with each turn as when you're putting it in. And an interesting thing, it's not when that end gets really warm. It's like, I don't know, it's probably 60 or 65 Fahrenheit out right now. And this thing is already getting warm. This is an interesting tree because there's no branches, old branches down low. But it looks like there's some damage about 20 feet up. Like the tree kind of wiggles a little bit. And see, all this is warm now. But the tree wiggles. My mom would say ziggle zaggles, maybe. And there it is, and it's coming out. And I'm just really careful. So one thing I'm doing is putting my hand right there And nope, there's nothing in there. But a lot of times what I've had to do, there's still a little plug, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and I have to put wooden dowels in there to get it out. Thanks for listening to my video.